Okay, a couple of things I want to point out before we get into the financial statement is first, on the auditor's office website, which is www.sai.ok.gov, if you get on there, you will find the answers to a lot of frequently asked questions. There's a lot of good information out there. There's even a part on segregation of duties. I know you've all heard that phrase. Please visit that and see if any of your questions can be answered that way. And the next thing, I'm not sure if I mentioned this earlier, but thank you so much for attending this class. We are here to help you. We're all here to get on the same page, and we're all here to promote the great state of Oklahoma. You're part of the team. Now, as I get into this, I do want to make mention that this financial statement that we are talking about are only for 75 counties. Oklahoma and Tulsa County prepare a CAFR, which is a comprehensive annual financial report. This is a much simpler version. So if I have any Tulsa or Oklahoma County people here, this doesn't apply to you. I'm not sure why we've never asked this before, but based on my experience with every single official, all we had to do was ask what we needed, and they would try to provide it to us. Well, I told you earlier, as we were going through this process, you're going to ask, what's the big deal? We're already doing this. You are, and there is no big deal. I'll explain how simple this financial statement is going to be to put together. Another thing that I want to talk about is the types of audits. I kept telling you that depending on how much money you spent in federal funds would determine what type of audit you require. If you spend more than $500,000 in federal expenditures, you have to have the full-blown federal audit. If you're under that $500,000, we will be performing an operational audit. An operational audit is a new type of audit for county government. What we do is we come in, we get an understanding of the processes over revenues, expenditures, payroll, and inventories. Inventories includes consumable inventories as well as fixed assets. We come in, we see what controls you've designed to make sure that all of these items are properly accounted for. So you're going to start seeing that in the future. Okay, the question was, is there any way to know exactly what we're going to audit? Do you mean for the federal audit or for the operational? Okay, the operational is big. It's a big objective. It's, are there controls designed over, which office do you work in?
I'm in the courthouse in the commissioner's office.
Okay, in the commissioner's office. Well, okay, let me use a treasurer for instance. We would go into the treasurer's office and determine what controls she had put in place to determine that all of the money that came into her office was accurately reported in the accounting process. We would go through, we would interview employees, we would ask them what their job duties were. You know, a lot of times in county government, each person does their own job. Well, that's great, because you do it well. But there have also got to be controls in place to make sure that things are reconciled. It's not okay for just one person to do a job. Somebody else needs to look at it and also make sure that this is being done correctly. And so that's the operational audit that some of you will be seeing. If we will not be doing a federal audit, we will be doing an operational audit. Okay, the main points. Why are you required to prepare a financial statement? This is a new statute that was actually it's not a new statute, it's a revision to an old statute that was changed this year. And it talks about the county presenting their financial statement in a regulatory basis of accounting. What information is required to be presented on the financial statement? Well, the nice thing is that your county treasurers already prepare this and send it in to us each month. What we need is for the county to design procedures to compile those 12 months into one report and send it in to us. Very simple. The financial report that the county treasurer currently submits to us has the beginning balances, apportionments, disbursements, and ending balances, and it details that by every fund in your county. The only difference is you would only present county funds. Well, I know you're thinking, aren't they all county funds? They're all ours. Well, the difference between a county fund and another fund, a county fund is under the direct control of the Board of County Commissioners. So we're talking about the general fund, the highway fund, sheriff service fee. You know, the funds that you usually use to operate your office with. A good rule of thumb are those county funds are those funds that are expended on purchase orders with the Board of County Commissioners approval. However, it's also going to include resale. Resale is a county fund. I know some of those are on cash vouchers. Trust and agency funds, those are funds that are held on behalf of another agency or in trust. Some examples of those would be the official depository, schools, library, cities and towns, court clerk funds. Those are not considered county funds. Those are considered trust and agency funds because mostly those funds are used to support the courts or to transfer to other agencies. In the past, the auditor's office has prepared the financial statement. Again, we can no longer do that. This is the easiest part of this presentation today because we're just asking one person to add up 12 reports. The top 3 reasons you need financial statements: budgeting purposes. You need to know where you came from so you know where you're going. It's really interesting. Part of our audit, we go back and look at trends in these different funds. And in the counties that have had this big gas boom, a lot of drilling, you can see where the funds went way high and then all of a sudden they've sloped off. You know, you can use this as a tool. As you prepare this annually, you can look at this and you can see what's going on. Now, most of the time your clerks and treasurers are already going to know this, but this is helpful information to everybody else in the county. Second reason, accountability. As you know, taxpayers are expecting more accountability. A financial statement is a good way to present that. And last, financial statements are statutorily required. Some highlights of the new statute. Mr. Jones worked extensively with legislators to pass this earlier this year. It changes a lot of things, but the biggest thing it changes is the burden on county government. It has relieved a lot of that. Budget boards in the past were required to have GAAP basis financial statements. Well, if any of you are familiar with that, that's very extensive, it's very difficult to prepare, takes a lot of time. This relieves them of having to do that. It changes what we used to call your basic financial statement to a regulatory basis financial statement, which means your financial statement and the information presented is only that required by statute. And that statute, I think I do have that, part of that maybe on the handout. I can give that to you. It would be very good for you to read that statute to know exactly what's required. Again, it requires all county funds to be presented. It makes it easier for the county officials to prepare the financial statements. Key questions about the financial statement. What time period does the financial statement cover? It's just like your budget. And again, don't get the budget confused with the financial statement or the CFA. It's completely different. Your financial statement should cover July 1st to June 30th. So now we have 3 things we know at June 30th we have to do. You have to do your budget, you have to do your financial statement, and you have to do your CFA. All 3 cover the same time period. Who is responsible for preparing the financial statement? Well, the county as a whole is responsible, but this information does come directly from the county treasurer's monthly reports. So, treasurer's probably going to be the one to prepare your financial statement. Again, as a county, you should decide that. When should you submit your financial statement? Again, we want the financial statement and the CFA by August 1st. Again, I'd like to point out that the treasurer is already preparing this monthly report. They send a monthly report to the auditor's office of all funds and beginning balances, apportion, disbursements, ending balances. They've already got it. We just need the compilation for the 12 months. We would be more than happy to provide you with a spreadsheet template if you like to use the computer. If you would like to use handwritten worksheets, we don't care. We just need it. What is the most difficult part of preparing the financial statements? The most difficult part for us is separating the error corrections from the transfers. As you know, transfers are not allowed unless it's just a loan from one fund to another. Most of the time, the monthly reports that we get in are error corrections. So let me give you an example. If $40,000 was apportioned to the sheriff's service fee and it really should have went to general fund, what we see is a transfer out of sheriff's service fee and a transfer into general fund. Well, that's not really a transfer, and we don't need that on your financial statement. We would need you to, at the end of the year, reduce those apportionments to sheriff's service fee because they should have never been there, and increase those apportionments to general fund. We need you to net those error corrections as if they never happened. Only transfers should be reported in the transfer column. And again, there are some cases of transfers. For instance, whenever you have a residual in your county sinking, you've already paid everything. That by statute, that can be transferred to the general fund. If you loan one fund money during the year, like say the commissioners decided to loan general fund some money in August because they didn't want to pay interest on warrants, you would show that as a transfer. Of course, that money has to be paid back by June 30th. So we would expect to see another transfer from general fund back to highway. Leave those transfers in there. Error corrections should be corrected and netted from the appropriate funds while leaving a paper trail for the auditors. Now, I said this in front of one of the auditors, and she said, well, what if they think the paper trail is putting that information in that column for transfers? I said, well, I am just fine with that because that's not their official financial statement. On your monthly reports, if you continue to do that, I have no problem. But the financial statement we need at the end of the fiscal year should not have error corrections on it. It should be the completed version. Some helpful tips that we have. 1, contact your software provider for programming changes. 2, create a spreadsheet and update monthly. Procrastination is a pitfall. 3, if you have questions, don't wait. Call us. If you have something that happens in your month and you're not sure how that's supposed to be handled, the auditor's office will still give you technical assistance. We can help you with that. We just can't put it together for you at the end of the year. Now, I would like to say one thing. I have spoken with Mike Keller about this several months ago about the monthly reports. I know all of you don't use Mike Keller, but his system was able to generate a financial statement immediately, push of a button, and but it still had the error corrections. I'm going to let Mike explain something to you real quick about what could or couldn't be done, or how easy this could be addressed.
I had to say, my daddy did tell me how to deal with auditors, though. He said, I never saw him and Mama fight, but I said, Daddy, you and Mama ever get in disagreement? He said, oh, yeah. He said, I always get the last 2 words. Yes, ma'am. So, anyway, that's it. Well, all y'all that have my system knows the monthly auditor's report because we put it out there. There is an extra button or 2 we need to push to save some information, but it's there, and I can show you, tell you where that button is. And then, probably imagine what I would do is I would put out the spreadsheet totals off the auditor's report, and then I'd just give it to you to, you could go press the journal entries to see which ones were error corrections, and then you could make the necessary corrections to that.
So most of us need to know what that button is.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
And I asked Mike to say that just to let you know how easy this is going to be on you. And I know all of you do not use the Keller system, but I'm sure that your program vendors can do the same thing.
Because I do it by hand.
And again, by hand is just fine.
But it's easier
Not a
to go
problem.
that way.
Okay, at this point, I know you guys are anxious to get to lunch. Do we have any questions? Okay, right here. Oh, we need to sign in.
Has anyone not signed?
Has anyone not signed in that still needs a sign-in sheet? Does anybody have any questions related to the financial statement and what this means for your county, or even any additional questions for the CEPA? Okay, the question is, does the financial statement need to go through the commissioners' meeting? It is not required to go through the commissioners' meeting. If you'd like to, so that everyone can review it and officially approve it, that would be fine. Question over here. The ledger templates that's in this handout, this entire handout is on our website, and it is easy to locate. And if you can't locate it, there are email addresses on that first page. Let us know and we will assist you with that.
I do file mine in the my financial statements with the county clerk.
Yeah.
And then
You
they
file
take
your
it to the
financial
budget.
statements with the, you send it to the auditor's office.
Well, I don't know whether she does or not, but I file it with the clerk.
Okay.
But I don't send it to you, so I need to send it to you.
We need the financial statements sent to the auditor's office by August 1st at the end of your fiscal year.
Okay, right, I'll do that.
Oh, right here.
On your CEPA, the county fire department required
On the CEPA, are the county fire departments required to report that? Did your county fire department receive FEMA? Okay, anybody that receives FEMA funds that's awarded to your county, it has to be awarded to your county. It's the county's responsibility to put that on their CEPA. So it would depend on if the FEMA was awarded to you or awarded to the fire departments. It may have been awarded to the fire departments through your county, and I'm sure that's probably the way it was, so it would be required. Any additional questions? Oh, Jenny Beth. Okay, a good tip to follow. We have already been doing this for you. It's as easy as getting on our website, going to your previous audit, and looking at your financial statement. I should have addressed that during the talk. Please look, and I think that will help in any funds that you have trouble classifying as either a county fund or a trusted agency. We would be glad to provide you technical assistance in determining that. There was a question over here. Okay, I'm not being able to. Looks like that's everyone. Thank you very much.